Hey guys, it's Ashley with Wholesaling Out of the Box, and I am joined today by Cameron Peters, and we are going over his personal coaching style. So, hi Cam, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good. So if you guys don't know, we're starting this new personal coaching, or we've been doing it in the group for a few months now, but we've changed the way that the group, our WOB group, is working. So now we're on a subscription-based program, and in that 297 closer level, if you commit to that monthly subscription, you will be able to do once a week meeting with a personal coach that we'll match you with. And we'll do that by looking at your investment strategies, the way you talk, things like that, so that you can be matched up with a coach that's going to help you best succeed. So we're going through and doing these small interviews about coaching styles with all of our coaches. So I think Shawn's interview should have come out already, and then Jacob's will be out next week. But today we are here to talk all about Cameron Peters. So Cam, first question, who are you?
Who am I? Okay. So, and I like these questions because they're kind of impromptu, right? So, who am I? I would say, first and foremost, I'm married. We've been married for 20 years. I have two daughters. I have two dogs. I am a retired Air Force veteran. So, I retired from the Air Force in 2020. So, I've been retired just not even a year yet. Did 22 years in the Air Force all over the world. Love Virginia. Now I live here in Virginia, and truly, as I started to move here, got a real passion and interest in real estate. I will say, I always tell the story that I got that bug back when I was like 18 or something, and I saw Carlton Sheets on these late night infomercials, right? And you're really dating yourself if you know who Carlton Sheets is, because I believe he's passed away by now. But many of his programs are still in place, and it was that whole buy real estate, low, no money down, be a millionaire, and he was walking around his mansion and sitting by the pool. Like, if y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all remember these commercials, right? But I was 18, sitting on the couch, awake at 3 a.m, so probably up to no good, but watching those things. And I was like, how am I going to do that? Like that can't be real. That's gotta be. And so I, of course, went in the Air Force, but now I know everything we do is very, very real. It's just you need to be organized, and you need to be accountable, and you need to set up a business and set steps as you progress through, to start from, hey, I really know nothing, to start to learn, and then start to take action steps and start to move forward. So that's who I am, and that's how I got here.
Nice. And I actually just looked up Carlton Sheets because I had no idea who that was. So, and he died in 2020, so very recently in the
That's right.
grand scheme of things.
I thought I remembered that. Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, because I never heard of him, but it's okay.
Yep.
Next question then. Tell us about your first deal.
First deals. Yep. So I would say this was in 2018, 17. I think it was 17. No, it's 18. Sorry. Doing math. See, that's why you don't do math in public, because it's about to be 2021. So that was my brain lock up there. So in 2018, I started going to Trig, to Tidewater Real Estate Investors Group, right? And met some people there, Shawn Bowen being one of them, but other people as well. And got involved in a little weekend thing like some of us go to, not this $40,000 sort of thing. But I was taught the basics of wholesaling at that event. And it got me thinking, because I was just trying to buy rentals, and I'm like, well, maybe this is a way to build more capital, because I didn't have a lot of capital. And I figured out if I went into my rental, or if I went ahead and bought a rental, I wouldn't be able to do anything for like maybe a year or more, because I would have to build up more capital. So I was like, let me start this wholesaling thing, right? So I used to, it was all direct mail started in the beginning, because I was still working a full-time job, and I didn't have much money to pay some fancy mailing house or whatever you have you to send out letters. So I had my daughter, who was, I think, 12 or 13 at the time. I would print the letters, she would sign them, she would address them, she would put the stamp on the envelope, right? And then I would pay her for each one that she did. I think it was a quarter a piece or whatever, and I gave her $100 bonus when I closed a couple properties. And I did. We closed a couple properties together, my daughter and I. So that first deal came about 90 or so days after mail had been in the system, right? And I was pretty consistent, right? And I was getting follow-up letters because the first one was on a second letter. It wasn't on a first letter. And it was actually a driving for dollar lead. That's where the lead came from. And these folks called me, and I walked out to the house and I met them. And I remember it was raining and my umbrella, and this guy, he joined me and walked around the house and kind of showed me what was going on. And he was a Army veteran, and his wife, and she had some health problems. They had some dogs, and it was just a good experience overall, because as I walked around with them, the house overall relatively was in good shape. It just needed some cosmetic updates, some roof work, but it did have like a nice new HVAC system. The deck was about to fall over. There were some pluses and some minuses, but overall it was a pretty solid house. And they needed to move like yesterday. He had accepted a job in Texas and they needed to move. And they really were just looking to get some startup money when they got there. And so that was what the whole conversation was about. And I won't quote numbers off the top of my head because um, it's been a few years, but I do remember that they walked away with, you know, $20,000 to $30,000 at closing. So they did have some equity in the home. And like so many other people, I was going to flip that house. That's what I was going to do. I was not going to wholesale it because I thought it was so straightforward. But I ran into the headache of contractors and dealing with contractors when I'd never done that before. And I had some good coaches, and I'm pretty sure there was some phone calls with Shawn in there as well, helping me out to talk to those contractors. But I couldn't find contractors that met the criteria. Either they didn't have insurance, they were too busy, they didn't have dedicated funds. There was just, and I was just like, after so many, I was like, there's just too many reasons that I'm being told, if you want to say that. There's just too many roadblocks here, right? And so I wholesaled the property, found my first buyer. I've actually sold him multiple deals, and $12,000 fee on that one. So that was like the whole aha moment that I couldn't believe it, honestly, when there was no negotiation. I told him my asking price. He went and walked the house, and he called me back within like 3 hours, and he's like, I'm good. What paperwork do we need? Let's go. And I was like, ooh, okay, this is real, right? And so that was the first deal, and that got me the capital to build some more systems and get some more things going.
Yeah, proof of concept too.
Yeah, right. Yep,
Especially with the $12,000 fee. That's a great first fee.
it is. Yep.
Okay, so then tell us about your first deal with Full Circle.
Sure. So fast forward about 2 years or so, I did a few deals. I think when I came with Full Circle, I think I had like, I don't know, 5 to 6 deals or so, something like that, that I had completed. And I was talking to Shawn, and the thing was, is that I had no idea how I was spending my money. And I know that sounds weird when you tell people that I had no idea how I was spending my money, but I had driving for dollars, I had absentee owners, tax, I was working different lists, but I really didn't know which one did best. I really couldn't tell you how many touches I needed to do with a seller. I didn't know how many times I needed to call. I didn't know any of that. And Shawn was like, Cam, I wouldn't say you're getting lucky, but you're just not tracking. Like you haven't built a business. And I'm like, yep, I agree. And so he was like, why don't you come in the wholesaling out of the box site? Let us show you how to build that business and everything that comes with it, and just run side by side with us. Like, we know that you know how to talk, right? I'm sure you could grow, but you're doing okay, but you could do better if your business was focused. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. Let's do it. So I did that. And I think it was about 40 or 45 days into the program, and found this house, got on the phone with the seller out in Smithfield. And that came from a Facebook ad. And she wanted to sell. Her expectations of price was pretty unreasonable. But after going out and talking with her and walking the property and kind of explaining to her the repairs that needed to go in, she was like, yeah, I know. Yeah, that needs to be done. So there was a whole turning. And we actually still talk about this in the company, because that was one where the original number that she told me she wanted to be at to sell the house, and the number that we got under contract for and sold the house, was over $100,000. So there was definitely some negotiation in there, right? And that is the biggest spread I've ever negotiated. A lot of times you won't get that, right? But that was the first deal we closed, and that was in Smithfield. It's an old part of town. I actually was by there about 4 weeks ago or something with some friends. We were down at a microbrewery down there. It's a good place. And we were only a couple blocks away. So I was like, man, we got to walk by this house and take a picture. It was a triplex, and we wholesaled that. I went out to a couple, I believe. Either way, they were looking to hold it as a triplex, and they did really well with this property. It's still, it's historic and all that. So that was a bit of a challenge, but that's what they were looking for. And they do Airbnb out of there, I'm pretty sure. And I think we'd have to look at the numbers on the wholesale fee, but I think it was 20. 20 rings my head. I think it was 20,000 was the fee on that one. So that was the first deal with Full Circle.
Yeah, I think that was roughly around 20,000. That was one of those that toward the end something came up and we had to drop the price a little bit. So
Yeah.
18-ish maybe,
Somewhere
but somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
I mentioned this in the personal coaching, like the full episode where we kind of talked about what this is going to involve. But Cam is a killer negotiator, guys. So he's the one that pulls in these he's had a $40,000 wholesale fee before. He's had a lot of like upwards of 25 to 30 wholesale fees. Like that's his common. His I think his average is like 22, 23, somewhere in there. So if you're looking to better negotiate, Cam is your guy. I talked to Shawn the other day for his episode, and you guys should have already heard it by now, but if you did, you heard him say that his biggest wholesale fee was 55. So Cam is coming for that. He's I
Challenge
think
extended.
Huh?
Challenge extended.
Yes. But is it accepted?
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Let's go.
So maybe we'll see that in 2021. But yeah, so now we've talked about your first few deals. Tell us about the best and worst of your deals. And that can be on any measure. It can be the best wholesale fee you've gotten, worst wholesale fee. It could be the best experience you've had, however you want to measure that.
Yeah, so that first deal was the best and the worst. And I'll explain that. So I say the worst because I just started with this, right? But I had sat down, I'd walked this house with this couple. I've gotten to know them. I knew their dog's name. I knew their son and daughter's name. Their son was in the Army. I still remember all these things, right? Because we have really good conversations, really good rapport. They knew everything that I did in the Air Force. They knew everything I was doing, right? There was a lot of good rapport going on there. And I sat across from the table from them and told them that I was going to get this done, right? I was going to get their house sold. They were going to have the money that was talked about. Everything was going to carry out, right? And all those issues I ran into with the contractor, I had to, call and tell him I needed to push out the closing date. And that was a really difficult conversation because I told him I would do something and I wasn't able to do it on time. Now, I had done everything I could. I didn't let the ball drop. I was working on this thing on weekends and after hours and at lunch breaks. And so you can ask my wife if you ever happen to meet my wife, obviously, but my life was surrounded by that deal, right? Mostly because I gave them my commitment. And so there was a call at the end where before we were getting close again and I was looking to wholesale. And so I was starting that up and the seller called me and was like, Cam, I'm really losing faith that this is going to close. I'm really getting worried. We've already moved. They had already moved to Texas. They'd already bought another place and they were counting on this money to come in, right? And they were getting worried. And so that phone call, that was just a gut punch to me because I was like, I have to follow through on what I said I was going to do. And I made that commitment on the phone, right? No matter what, I was going to get this done. And I reassured them. And at the end of that call, they were like, okay, we got it. I'm like, we got this. That was also when Hurricane Michael blew through. I think it was Hurricane Michael. So that had some delays too. There was other delays that weren't related to me. So I would say that was the worst, that 2-month time frame, because I think it took about 50 or so days to close. And we originally were on track for like 30, right? So that time frame was really difficult, but I learned so much in that time frame that when everything was closed and I called them on the phone because I wanted to give them a call, they were so happy and they were like, look, we kind of lost faith of you in the beginning. And it was more so the husband, and the wife was like, Kathy was her name. Kathy was like, but I knew from us sitting at the table that you were going to get this done and you were the person to do it. So that was, I'll still remember that. And obviously I still remember their names and everything else about them. That was the best experience. It really had nothing to do with the money, although that was really nice. It was proof of concept, like you said. even though it was super difficult and a super rough 50 to 60 days, I learned so much, and I was like, let's go get another one. And I think it was about 3 months later, I had another one. So that was the best and the worst. Yeah, for sure. Same deal.
Yeah, I we've definitely had those deals too, where it's like, oh my God, keeping me awake at night. Like, how are we going to close this?
Yep.
So I can definitely see that. So yeah, now that we know a little bit more about Cam and his experience, why don't you tell us more about your coaching style? What would you say your style there is, the things that you focus on, things like that?
Yeah, so I would say my coaching style definitely comes from my military history. And I would hope that doesn't scare people off, because I don't mean like a drill sergeant sort of thing, because I know a lot of folks that weren't affiliated with the military, weren't or haven't been around the military, that's what they get. In the military, I was taught that, you can be the best manager, the best leader, um, ever. You can be the smartest person. You can be the best trained, the most well versed. You can understand everything about whatever mission you're going to undertake or whatever goal you're going to undertake, right? But if you don't have the people with you that you need to help you get to that goal, right? If the people won't fall behind you and won't work with you, um, it doesn't matter. You're going to fail, right? So it's all about the people that you work with. And so I approach it the same way. And that the first thing I want to know about somebody that I'm talking with and coaching and trying to help is I want to know about them. So I would say the first conversations are going to be based on getting to know the person, right? And understanding what family dynamics they have, or, you know what I mean? Even if they're a single person and they're not married, still there's other family dynamics, even if that's pets and that's girlfriends or boyfriends or whoever it may be, and what you do for work and what you do for fun, and where your time constraints are, right? If you work from, sometimes like I'm coaching a guy right now who's in the Navy, and his shifts just switch like all the time. So we have to constantly talk about when his shifts are and how we can adjust so we can keep talking, right? And I need to know that so I understand where can we fit in the time, because guys, you have to have time in this business. If you don't have time, I'm not sure how you're going to get anything done, right? It's a lot of work. Like we always say about wholesaling, it's not difficult. It's not rocket science. You don't have to be brilliant. Trust me, I'm not the smartest guy. Believe me. But you have to work at it. It's just work. It's not difficult, but it's a lot of work. So I would want to get to know the person and to figure out where the time constraints are, and maybe where some pitfalls might be or some troubles that they might have based on things going on in their life, and how do we pivot from that. And I've helped other guys do that, other guys who have limited time but have a little bit of resources, have some money, right? So how do we get a VA, making calls for you? How do we get a VA working for you? And we've done that too as well. So it's not a one size fits all where, there's calling and be like, you need to have 6 hours a day, because some folks obviously might be chuckling right now. You don't have 6 hours a day. Let's figure out what time you have and how it would be best spent.
Yeah, that time money balance is super important because everyone comes in differently. Some people are going to come in with more money and less time, or vice versa. And you need to be able to know what that is that you have so that you can target your goals and the things that you need to do towards that. And your personal coach can help with that because they've all been through it. um,
Yep.
yeah. So then what can you specifically help people with? So I guess what makes you a better coach than the others? This is the chance to like talk yourself up and trash talk the others a little bit. They won't hear it for a while.
So I don't know if this would be trash talk, because I think we have a good mix of people in the company. But I'm a keep it real kind of guy. I'm a real talk. I'm not, some others in the company have strengths of um, being very analytical and being very much in the numbers, and that if you're a numbers guy, you're an analytical guy, and you want to go through it, Jacob's your guy. And that's not throwing a slam at Jacob. That's his thing. That's not my thing. Like Jacob and I are like completely opposite on that. So I'm a real guy. I'm a short and sweet and simple kind of guy. And I'm also a no fluff kind of guy. So I will tell you, brutally and honestly what I think you need to hear, whether you want to hear it or not. And it'll take some time to lead up to that and get to know you. But you can ask the couple guys I work with now. Sometimes it's like, man, you ain't meeting it. You know what I mean? You're not meeting what we talked about, and we got to talk about that because I don't understand what's going on. We talked about this. It's not happening. What's the deal? You're not making any progress here, but us coaching together, we're not making any progress because you're falling short. So I would say definitely I'm good at holding somebody accountable. The other thing, one of the strengths that I have just based on experience is building out all the systems to get a VA working for you, to break down all your lists, pretty much all of the data mining processes that we have within Full Circle, getting all the data out of the courthouse, turning those all into lists, creating the processes, right? I've done a lot of that. Ashley's helped a lot on them as well, but I can teach you how to do that. So if you don't understand how to do any of that, these coaching calls don't necessarily all just have to be accountability and mindset and all that stuff. That stuff is good and that stuff has a place, but we got to get into the meat too, which is how do I build my friggin' list and how do I get it out? All right, let's spend 30 minutes talking about that and let's make some goals this week that you can accomplish for next week, and then we'll keep talking about them. So I would say systems and processes, and very specifically into the courthouses. I know how all that works, so I can help with that for sure.
Yeah. And I do want to say, guys, that like I said, we're going to match you with someone that could be Cam. It might be someone else, but we're all very available to each other as well. So even if maybe you get matched with Cam because of whatever reason, but you're starting to want to dig into the numbers, it's not like Cam can't do that. And he could call Jacob and be like, hey, I need, what are you thinking about this? So you're getting all of us, but just one person to really help you dig deep into that. But yeah, I mean, I think you made some excellent points. Cam is kind of the systems guy and helping with that as well. And it's a little bit of a sliding scale. I think it goes from like least straight talk to most straight talk, and is Jacob, Cam, Shawn. And on that same kind of line is like most analytical to, well, Shawn is also very analytical, but more like bull in a china shop about some things. Yep. So it's just really funny to see the sliding scale there between you guys.
Yep.
Okay, so final question. What are you looking forward to most about the new personal coaching program?
Just doing it. Just doing it. So guys, I would say that if I had access to this when I started 3 years ago, this is what I was looking for. And I'm most looking forward to just getting in there and helping people and talking with people. I think this is a great opportunity. I've said it before. In 2021, we've kind of changed wholesaling out of the blocks, and we're moving to a monthly subscription program. And there's many things that we've created on top of what we already had. But the coaching thing is something that we started very diligently in 2020, and it's been my favorite part of the program, and I believe it's the most valuable part of the program. So, and the reason I say that is because everybody needs somebody to be accountable to, right? Whatever that is, if you're trying to reach a goal. So it's like I say, like if you're a super workout person, then maybe this isn't you, okay? But if you're a normal person, sorry for super workout people, but if you're a normal person and you try to get up and go to the gym every morning at 5 or 6 or whatever this crack of dawn for you, but right in the military it was 5, right? Hated it every day. I hated it, right? It's good when you get through it, but I hated it then. But we had accountability partners, right? Obviously we showed up as a team, so if you weren't there, well, you're probably getting in trouble, right? But in the personal workout thing, you need somebody to hold you accountable to be like, Cam, where were you this morning? You weren't there. Like, you just left me hanging at the gym. This is the same way this coaching program is that every week we're going to meet and we're going to talk and we're going to set some goals. And if you didn't meet them, it's like, whoa, what's going on? What happened? Like, and things happen, right? It's not like you're failed. Like, you didn't meet any of your goals. You're failed. Forget it. We're not doing this anymore. It's no, all right, you didn't meet that goal. Let's talk about what happened. Let's be real. What happened, right? Well, my daughter broke her arm, went to the hospital. Okay, get it, right? Or, dude, this new show started on Netflix, man, and I got sucked into it. All right, that's not acceptable, right? Let's talk about how you have to be disciplined in this, right? So there's those different things, but I think that's why this is so valuable. If I could rewind 3 years and go back and had somebody that had been around and doing this and would just help keep me accountable even at 30 minutes a week and would call me on my stuff when I didn't do it, that would be invaluable. I would hop on that. And for what you're paying for this program, you're getting back so much more. So I guess like I said, just doing it. That's what I'm looking forward to, is I believe this will help make people be better wholesalers or start their business, right? And I think this is one of those make or break things. You want any of those Facebook groups, even the one that we have, right, the Virginia Wholesale Real Estate, you go out into that group or any other one of these groups, it's all these people, I'm looking for a mentor. I'm looking for a mentor. What I really need is a mentor. Okay, well, here's a program that offers it to you at a very affordable price. And if you're local here in Hampton Roads or even Virginia, it's in Virginia. If you're not in Virginia and you're watching this, man, sign up, because we can still do it, right? But yeah, so doing it, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think this personal coaching thing, it was something that we probably threw out right at the beginning of our new business development meetings. And I think it was sort of a throwaway idea. And it really caught on. I think it's been super helpful. We didn't realize how much we needed it. And for anyone that's going to come on for the new stuff, yeah, it's so important. You don't know what you don't know. And it's just really helpful to have someone to tell you what you don't know. Like when you're sitting there trying to figure something out and it's like, no, you can actually just do this one little thing and that'll help you immensely.
Yep.
So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Final thoughts, Cam, about this or the new program in general?
Well, I'm super excited about the program. I think it's going to help a lot of folks who don't have a lot of money to start up, but they have a little bit of money, right? They can commit some money. That it's going to help those folks get started and get started in the right step. And definitely, I mean, I'm a bells and whistles guy. I told the team that. So given the different program options, I would always sign up for the 297 program, because I think you'll get the most out of it. And I think this personal coaching is the most important part. And those Sunday strategy calls with Shawn and the role playing calls on Tuesday, man, you just can't beat that. That's like 3 times a week, where you get once is one-on-one and the other 2 is really small groups with somebody from Full Circle, really focused on what you're talking about 3 times a week. I never got that in the beginning. I stumbled on my own and made a few phone calls here and there to guys who would help me along. And you know what I mean? And Shawn was one of those guys, but we all have only so much time. So this is a way to get in a room, right? 3 times a week and get the help that you need and the focus that you need. So yeah, that's what I would say for sure.
Yeah. Great thing to point out, because if you're signing up for the closer level at 297, that's giving you 15 events between the Tuesday things that we're doing, the Sunday strategy sessions, and your personal calls, plus our normal events that we do, our property walkthrough and our 2 meetings every month. So 15 events of some kind for $300 a month. That is like ideal right there.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, that's about it, guys. We went through a lot of really cool things with Cam. And I guess the one final thing is, if you listen to our personal coaching call, we're doing a challenge for 2021. So all of the coaches are going to be doing a like twofold: whose mentees close the most deals and whose mentees make the most money. So Cam, do you have thoughts about that? Like, what are you hoping that your mentees will do?
Well, I'm hoping that together we can figure out how to make you successful in this business. I know that we can. Just as long as you come in and do the work, we're going to do it. And I will close by saying I've closed the most deals and made the most money. So there's the challenge. Come on, let's go. And I hate to say that because I don't like to brag, but you know, if that's the one thing that pushes you over the fence to want to work with me, then so be it. But I think that we'll keep it real. We'll get to know each other and we'll figure out how to help you get your first deal and many more, and how to set you up for many more. Because once you get that first one, everybody's like, the second one was super easy. Not always. You got to keep up, right? And there's something that goes with that. But let's work on the first one first, and we'll move on to the next one.
Awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us to talk about Cameron Peters and his personal coaching style. To find out more about our new program and to sign up, you can go to www.wholesalingoutofthebox.com. And hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.
Bye, guys.